Hey, glad you're here. Tonight I want to share a few strange stories from New York. Some of them are a little creepy, others are kind of funny, and a few just make you stop and think, wait, really? You don't have to believe them. Honestly, that's part of the fun. These are the kinds of stories that have been passed around for decades. They pop up in newspapers, in neighborhood bars, or from someone's uncle who swears it happened. So, grab a blanket, settle in, and let's get into it. And hey, if you like this kind of storytelling, feel free to like or subscribe. It helps the channel a lot, and I really appreciate it. You probably know this one. It's one of those stories that just refuses to die, no matter how many times people try to debunk it. The basic version is simple. People in New York used to flush baby alligators down the toilet, and now there are huge, blind, albino gators living in the sewers. Sounds ridiculous, right? But like most good legends, it started with just enough truth to stick. Let's go back to the early 1900s. Back then, wealthy New Yorkers would take trips down to Florida. It was still kind of wild and swampy, not the condo-lined coast we know today. And on these trips, some folks picked up souvenirs. Not postcards or t-shirts, baby alligators. They were small, exotic, kind of cute in a terrifying way. Some people kept them in bathtubs. Others, according to the stories, tried to train them like you would a dog or a cat. Of course, alligators don't stay small, and they don't care about your parquet floors or nice rugs. So when they got too big and too bitey, some people didn't want to give them up. They couldn't exactly call animal control. Instead, the legend says they flushed them. Now, modern sewer experts will tell you this isn't how plumbing works. An alligator wouldn't survive the journey through the pipes. The water's cold, there's barely any oxygen, no food, not to mention, it's New York in the winter. But here's the thing. In February 1935, the New York Times actually published a front-page article about a 7-foot-long alligator pulled out of a Harlem sewer by a group of teenagers. They saw something moving under a manhole cover, got some ropes, and somehow dragged it out. The gator, by the way, did not survive the trip. The city sent sanitation workers down to check the tunnels, just in case. They found nothing. But the damage was done. The idea had taken root. If there was one gator, maybe there were others. Maybe they had babies. Maybe they were still down there, hiding in the dark. Over the years, the legend grew. Books were written, cartoons were drawn, and eventually, the idea of albino sewer gators became a pop culture icon. There's even a man named Thomas P. Keenan, a retired sewer worker who used to give talks in the 50s about his supposed encounters with the creatures. He claimed he saw something big moving through the water once. Never confirmed, of course, but why ruin a good story? Today, you'll still find people who swear they've seen one, usually late at night after a few drinks, and always from just far enough away that they couldn't snap a photo. So, are there alligators in the sewers? Almost definitely not. But once upon a time, in 1935, there was one. And for New York, one is all it takes. The piano in Central Park. There's this odd little story people tell about Central Park. Some folks say that, now and then, if you're walking early in the morning, just after the sun comes up, you might hear piano music coming from somewhere deep in the trees. Not loud, not dramatic, just soft, slow notes drifting through the air. And when you follow the sound, there's no one there. People say it happens most around the Ramble, that quiet, wooded part in the middle of the park, where the paths wind around and it's easy to get turned around. It's peaceful there. Feels far from the city, even though you're right in the middle of it. The story goes that, years ago, a man used to bring a full, upright piano into the park. Not a keyboard, a real heavy wooden piano. He'd wheel it in on a little cart and set up in the shade near the trees. He didn't talk much, didn't ask for money, he just played. Some say he had been a concert pianist once. Others think he just liked the quiet. Either way, he became part of the park for a while. The guy with the piano. Then one day, he stopped coming. No one really knows what happened. The piano vanished too. But every now and then, people still say they hear something. Just a few notes, a bit of melody. Maybe it's just the wind. Maybe someone nearby is playing music. Or maybe it's just one of those things the city holds onto. Not scary, not magical, just something that stayed. The Lost Subway Station. New York's subway system is huge. Some lines go way out to the edge of the city. Others cut underneath buildings that haven't been there in years. Over time, a lot of those old routes have changed, but not all of them were removed. Some were just sealed up. And that's where this legend begins. There's a story about a hidden subway station, one that was shut down decades ago, but still somehow works. Trains don't stop there on purpose, but every now and then, someone says their train did. It usually starts the same way. A person is on a late train, maybe heading home from work, half asleep. The car is quiet. Then the lights flicker a bit. Nothing unusual, happens all the time. But then the train slows down, not at a known stop, not where it's supposed to. And it pulls into a station with no name. The platform is old, tiles are cracked. There's no signage, no posters, no people, just dust and silence. And then, without warning, the train starts moving again. Back into the tunnel. No announcement, no explanation. Sometimes the person asks other passengers if they saw it too. Most say no. A few say yes, and then go quiet, like they don't want to talk about it. There are a few guesses about what this place might be. Some say it's a long-forgotten station, one of the original stops from the early 1900s. The city changed the tracks, rerouted the lines, and bricked up the entrances. Others think it was a secret station meant for city officials, built for emergencies during the Cold War maybe, and accidentally exposed when the system shifted. There's even a rumor that one of the early train conductors went missing back in the 1930s, and some people claim they saw an old man in uniform standing on the platform, just for a second, before he vanished behind a column. No one's ever proven it. The MTA says there's no such stop on any map. But even today, if you ask a longtime train operator, some will tell you there are parts of the subway that don't show up on the map. And if your train ever pulls into a station you don't recognize, you should just stay on board. That's all the stories for tonight. If you enjoyed this video, consider liking or subscribing. It really helps a lot. Also, I just want to say thank you to all my subscribers. It means a lot to see that you're enjoying these stories. Seriously, thank you. All right, that's it for tonight. Sleep well, and I'll see you in the next one. Good night.